Week 25 Day 1. The explosion of Krakatoa. There are few sights that are more impressive and awesome than the eruption of an active volcano. There are few natural events that so singularly dwarf man's puny attempts to control his environment. Perhaps the greatest volcanic eruption of modern times took place in 1883 when the island of Krakatoa in Indonesia blew up as the result of a volcanic explosion. An enormous tidal wave resulted that proved catastrophic to the nearby coasts of Java and Sumatra. New islands were formed by the lava that poured out, and debris was scattered across the Indian Ocean for hundreds of miles. Volcanic material, dispersed 17 miles into the atmosphere, created startlingly beautiful sunsets for years afterwards. Sample sentences. 1. Fred had been known for his gentle ways, so his friends were stunned by the eruption of angry words that issued from him. 2. We were surprised by the puny resistance put up by the voracious tiger to its capture. 3. After her house had burned to the ground, Mrs. Wiley searched through the debris for her valuable jewelry. 4. Many of those who witnessed the first atomic explosion reported that it was an awesome sight. 5. The fluffy seeds of the milkweed are dispersed by the wind. Week 25 Day 2. A universal danger. Man's ability to obliterate life on this planet has increased at a rapid rate. We are now faced with the deplorable prospect of new weapons that can cause destruction of life and property on a scale far beyond our imagination. No matter who takes the first step to initiate a conflict, the possibility exists that the conflagration will spread and envelop the world. Much thought has been given to ways and means of preventing this catastrophe. Some consider it mandatory that the nuclear powers seek agreement on methods of limiting and controlling these weapons. For in the absence of such an agreement, we may rue the day atomic energy was made practical. Sample sentences. 1. Who could imagine a more bizarre story than the one having to do with a cow causing the conflagration in Chicago? 2. No matter how one tries to delete material from a computer, it is almost impossible to obliterate it. 3. You will rue that display of histrionics when I asked you to help. 4. She could not imagine how she was going to get him to initiate a conversation about marriage. 5. The hometown fans thought the umpire's decision was deplorable. Week 25 Day 3. Taken for granted. The presence of an ever-flowing supply of fresh, clean water is taken for granted. Unfortunately, this congenial condition is fast disappearing. As our population increases, as industry consumes more water each year, the level of our underground water supply sinks measurably. There is no way to hoard water. There are many ways to conserve it. During a particularly dry spell, New York City found its reservoirs going dry. Only then did the residents begin to heed the sage advice to limit the wasteful uses of water. Under the aegis of the Water Commissioner, citizens were encouraged to develop habits that would save water. The continued imprudent waste by each of us of this most basic resource will work to the detriment of all. Sample sentences. 1. Isn't it a pity we can't hoard the ideal days of autumn? 2. A man may be a sage everywhere, but at home he's called a square by his youngsters. 3. The tree in front of my house has the dubious honor of being the spot voted the most congenial by the dogs of the neighborhood. 4. It was fortuitous that at the last moment the mayor offered the aegis of his office in finding a solution to the problem. 5. A settlement that causes detriment to neither side is imperative. Week 25 Day 4. An ageless story. Every so often we can read about a man or woman who has reached an age far beyond the limits we ordinarily expect. Reports of a man in Chile or a woman in Turkey who has celebrated the 105th or 110th birthday occur regularly. The natural question is, to what do these people owe their longevity? Frequently, the answer concerns the fact that the ancient one liked to imbibe regularly of some hard liquor. The photograph will show an apparently virile man or robust woman. Somehow, people who reach this advanced age seem to remain eternally sturdy. There are no signs that they have become senile. Smoking a pipe, or sewing on some garment, these rare specimens of hardy humanity are far from the doddering folk we expect to see. Sample sentences. 1. Far from being senile, the old woman was considered the sage of the neighborhood. 2. Scientists have placed the longevity of the planet Earth unbelievably into the future. 3. It was deplorable for us to see her doddering around the house with the aid of a cane. 4. If you imbibe, don't drive. 5. The boys struck virile poses to attract the girls on the beach.